Hi, I'm Harriet, and I write and podcast about the psychology of eating disorders. I personally recovered from bulimia and have worked as a therapist for 20 years. I hope to inspire, educate, and improve understanding about eating disorders through my writing and audio. Names used are fictional, and stories shared are a combined insight of many client experiences. I believe that full recovery is possible for everyone. A flower does not think of competing with the flower next to it, it just blooms, by John Dyer. So, when you must be the thinnest, cleverest, hardest worker, prettiest, fittest, or you feel like you're a failure. So, to be a human being is to be competitive to some degree. You are designed for survival and self-preservation, and it's natural to desire to win and chase resources. But what if you feel in constant competition with others? When it has become the bane of your life and leaves you constantly looking sideways, because let's face it, it's hard to win at everything all of the time. Setting yourself this crazy standard will guarantee a consistent feeling of not being good enough and unworthiness, with the occasional glimmer of superiority. Perhaps you feel you must be the cleverest, the thinnest, the fittest, the busiest, the prettiest, the better parent, the most successful, the wealthiest, the perfect person. It goes on and on. Feeling obsessively competitive usually stems from a belief that resources are limited and that you must fight others to achieve your goals. And although in part, humans are naturally designed for survival and competition, if this is ruling your life, you may wish to look deeper to find out what's going on. The roots of competitiveness. Constant competing is often rooted in feelings of unworthiness. You strive for the impossible standards to protect yourself from any possible criticism or judgment. You don't feel good enough internally, so you chase external goals to fill the shame-based hole. Underneath, you may feel, I'm boring, I'm not intelligent, I'm unattractive, I'm too this or that. And this inner feeling of unworthiness then permeates into every life area through choice of relationships, work, and social engagements. It's like having a millstone around your neck as you carry this heavy psychological baggage into every situation. You overcompensate for your lack of self-worth with an unhealthy striving to outshine others, and you spend hours working at your desk to produce the perfect report long after others have gone home. You starve and exercise obsessively to achieve an ideal body which you feel that people would admire and validate. And you sacrifice yourself to be the perfect parent, never setting boundaries and fulfilling every demand thrown at you. So outwardly, you may appear to be excelling at life, and your friends may describe you as the super coper. And your social media feed might display a rose-tinted view, but behind closed doors, it's an exhausting pursuit. Fundamentally, the constant striving runs you down. You're always looking sideways to compare yourself. You never feel as though you're winning. And to numb the pain, you press the accelerator to the floor of life and keep pushing harder. And you may seek to avoid this pain through eating or not eating, through alcohol, drugs, shopping, or workaholism, to name a few. And the coping strategies bring temporary relief from the turmoil bubbling inside your head. And much of this coping may be quite unconscious. You might not have the words to express your feelings. Rather, you simply sense that something just isn't right. You feel on an endless treadmill that spins faster. There's always another goal, another pursuit, another to-do task. Nothing brings you the satisfaction that you crave, and you feel lost in the jungle of life, repeatedly twisting and turning along tangled routes which lead to inevitable dead ends. It feels as though everyone else is getting ahead of you. My own competitiveness. I was frequently labelled as incompetent growing up, and compassion to the person who repetitively told me this. They were deeply hurting and didn't feel competent themselves. But the word incompetent, it would make me wince from the crevices of my core as I believed it to be accurate, and it triggered deep, deep shame and self-loathing. It impacted everything. I was on a mission to prove that I was competent and coping. I would study for hours at university to compensate for my feelings of lack. I wanted the highest grades and acknowledgement from the tutors. I would restrict and exercise, outwardly presenting a thin physique when I was struggling horrendously with bulimia. I wanted to appear that I was disciplined and in control. It was all deeply inauthentic and a soul-robbing process, but it felt like survival and coping to avoid rejection or criticism. So how did competitiveness start for you? Your family of origin may hold clues as to why competition feels so necessary and important. If you were compared with siblings or peers, you may have internalized that there was something wrong with you. You may have felt that you had something to prove. Perhaps you felt that you were the unintelligent one, the bad child, the ugly one, the difficult one. This can place you on a relentless treadmill of striving to achieve for approval from others and yourself through work, appearance, fitness, eating, and relationships, to name a few. You need to strive to be the best to feel okay. Otherwise, you feel unworthy and hopeless. Striving to be good enough is like spinning on a hamster's wheel that never stops. And the illusion that worthiness arrives once a goal is achieved is futile. The goalposts always move, and you will forever need another qualification, more money, a lower number on the scale, or additional likes on social media. When you look over your shoulder and compare, there will always be someone coming up behind you. It's impossible to win. So how to let go of unhealthy competing and find solid self-worth within. 7 ways. Number 1, get to the roots. Understand the roots of the issue. Why do you feel the need to constantly compete and strive to be perfect and the best? Look to your childhood experiences for clues and understanding. Number 2, develop self-awareness. You're probably not competing with everyone in your life, so notice the common themes arising when insecurity floods over you. Is it around certain people or situations? And are these people or situations remindful of times gone by? So notice when the competitor in you comes out. Write it down, reflect and observe, catch yourself in the moment. Number 3, build your inner trust muscle. Get aligned with your personal values and understand what really matters to you. Are you chasing something because it's truly important to you, or are you simply seeking validation and approval from others? Practice making decisions for yourself rather than always looking over your shoulder to see what others are doing first. And begin with baby steps and notice your unique preferences, tastes, likes and dislikes. It's okay to experiment and you might get it wrong. And you can learn from this and build your emotional muscles though. Number 4, embrace the grey of humanness. No one is all perfect or all bad. Everyone has their own unique strengths and weaknesses. Work to embrace the shades of grey in yourself and others. And if someone is seemingly perfect at one thing, there'll be flaws and imperfections in other areas. No one has everything streamlined and flawless all the time. Number 5, an abundant mindset. Work to build an abundant mindset and realise that there is more than enough for everyone. Someone else's success does not take anything away from you, and vice versa. Number 6, protect yourself from competitive energy. If you're an empathetic and sensitive soul, you might need to work actively to protect your energy and preserve your emotional space. Setting healthy boundaries in relationships can significantly help with this. And the quote to take away, a flower does not think of competing with a flower next to it. It just blooms, by John Dyer. So focus on blooming yourself and staying aligned in your own energy and inspired by your own goals. Have you struggled with competing with others? And what helps you to stay grounded and at peace? Do send me a DM on Instagram, or you can comment on Substack if that's where you're listening, or in the podcast notes. Thank you.